guys, Emma here, also known as 8 Vinyl Low, bringing you guys another video. Today's video is going to be a contest entry for David Newton. David has just reached 100 subscribers in the VC, so congratulations David on your VC milestone here. He's probably way over. I think the last time I checked he was in like the 120s, so he's already building up to 200, but this is where the 100 subs contest falls. If you don't know David Newton's channel, I'm going to link it down in the description below. He is a super cool guy, super nice, and a great asset to the vinyl community as a whole. He's one of the first people that I kind of followed on here, or sub to, in one of the first videos that I actually saw and commented on and so on. But anyway, super nice guy, and like I said, if you do not know his channel, definitely go check it out with the link in the description below. So moving on, I have my little note sheet with the directions for this contest. He's doing the Hot for Teacher Vinyl Community 100 Subs contest. It's called Hot for Teacher, and it's kind of a school-related contest in general. I think that he said that his inspiration for this contest was his wife, who is currently an educator, which I thought was perfect for me to kind of join in and put this entry up, because I am currently studying to be a teacher myself. So, actually, I've been so busy that I didn't know if I would have time to make another video this week, but I definitely wanted to support David and his channel, so I'm happy that I found time to kind of sit and do this. But yeah, I'm studying to be a teacher, so Hot for Teacher kind of relates to me in the sense that that's what I'm planning on doing. So super fun contest, and I'm excited to get in on this. So the first question here says, favorite albums in high school. So here's the deal with this one. I never listened to really any modern music that much. There were songs, there were, a couple bands, a couple artists that I was really into modern music-wise when I was in high school. And that was about, my senior year was like 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago or so. And, I was never really into what was on the radio during that time. I was always really into, I just remember in high school and even middle school, just really being into classic rock. That's my thing, that's my jam. And that's where I still am today. There's some modern music that's put out that sounds really good, and it's really good new artists, stuff like that. But the majority of it just doesn't really catch my interest, so yeah. But so when I was in high school, I would just listen to a little bit of everything and anything. Anything that was new artists, new bands, and just try to explore the world of music, as I'm still doing and will continue to do probably forever, because I love music so much, as I think most of us do here in the VC. But yeah, so I listen to classic rock and I listen to anything. So, for example, here are my entries here. I listen to Cheap Trick, of course, Stream Please. I listen to some Billy Joel. I listen to Led Zeppelin. Of course, I listen to some Pink Floyd. Listen to the Beatles. Listen to Bad Company, and so on. I could keep going. I could pull all of my records off the shelf and show you guys kind of what I listened to in high school. It's really anything and everything. But those are the ones for the sake of showing for this contest that I thought I'd share. So yeah, so that's number one. Basically anything that caught my interest. Okay, number two is an album by your favorite band that deserves an A+. I'm sure you guys already know which band my favorite band is, but I will show you guys the album that I think deserves the grade, the A+. and that is Cheap Trick's 1977 debut album, self-titled. This one that I'm showing is a 180 gram remaster. This thing sounds amazing, but in general, this is just a absolute phenomenal album. Even if I wasn't as big of a Cheap Trick fan as I am, I really do believe that I would love this album a lot. I've shared this with friends and a variety of other people who don't listen to Cheap Trick, don't know anything, you know, besides like Surrender. People that don't really even listen to classic rock that much. And I've showed them and had them listen to clips of some of these songs on here, and they really, I think, genuinely thought it was pretty good. So this album is probably my favorite Cheap Trick album, and it's it just has an amazing track list in general, and I think the cover is pretty cool too. So yeah, so the album from my favorite band that I think deserves an A+, Cheap Trick 1977 debut. Alright, this next one's gonna hurt because I hate talking down on Cheap Trick, even though I'm not talking down on them. But number 3 is album by your favorite band that didn't quite make the grade. That's not really talking down. They just, you know, didn't put in as much effort as they probably could have. So didn't quite make the grade. If you know anything really about Cheap Trick's discography, you might agree with me on this. In the Cheap Trick community, outside of the VC, or maybe in the VC, if you're part of the Cheap Trick community outside of the VC and you're in the VC, let me know. That was like a mouthful. Anyway, didn't quite make the grade by Cheap Trick. This is their 1986 album called The Doctor. This one has the lineup with John Brandt as their bassist. Of course, Tom Peterson being the main bassist of Cheap Trick. In the first few albums that they released. Peterson ends up leaving in the early 80s. John Brandt, well, then he had Pete Kamada. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But John Brandt ends up recording a couple albums in the 80s with Cheap Trick. Peterson ends up coming back. But this one is one that was recorded with John Brandt. And like I said, it was from 1986, released in 1986. And it's just not Cheap Trick, in my opinion. I mean, there's elements in there that you can't deny. So Robin Zander's voice, okay, Cheap Trick. Rick Nielsen's guitar playing, okay, Cheap Trick. Bunny Carlos on drums, okay, Cheap Trick. Even John Brandt, you know, bass, okay, Cheap Trick. Still think Tom Peterson is Cheap Trick. But it's just one of those albums that if you're a big fan, you listen to and you're like, I don't know how often I would put this on. So, I mean, they did have, here's the hype sticker here. The features are Kiss Me Red, which is probably the big song off this album. It's Up to You and Good Girls Go to Heaven. Bad Girls Go Everywhere. It's underwhelming, but it's still Cheap Trick and I'll still listen to it. So, yeah. So that's the album that didn't quite make the grade. Alright, number 4. Show an album released the year that you graduated high school. Okay, so going back to my original comment, as I was saying, I didn't really listen to a lot of modern day music or even music from the early 2000s. That more so than I graduated in 2015 from high school. So, early 2000s, yes, I listened to that stuff. Modern day 2014, 2015, not really. But one album that I did listen to and really enjoy, and just I enjoy this band in general. I've seen them live. They're fantastic. Chicago band, so of course hits me in my heart there. But the album that was released in 2015, the year I graduated high school, is, I don't have the album, so I printed out a picture. I hope that's acceptable. But it is Fall Out Boy's American Beauty, American Psycho. Great album. This one, of course, featuring the songs Centuries, Irresistible, Uma Thurman, The Kids Are Not Alright, kind of jab towards the kids are alright. But yeah, just a solid album. Solid rock album that came out. Pop rock. You know, Fall Out Boy kind of changed a little bit from early Fall Out Boy. And they're still kind of at that new evolved state right now, which I'm totally for. They sound amazing still. So yeah, so that was a little bit of a change. But Centuries, I love, of course, big radio hit of from that album, but still great. Okay, moving on here, last one, number 5, a song or album where the title relates to school. This is easy because I already have it out. This is going to come straight off of Cheap Trick's 1977 debut that I just showed. And the song here, I'm trying to find the track listing. The song track is track 2 on here, and it is called Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School. So, like I said, everything off this album I think is great. So that song is definitely a great song off that album, and it fit perfectly in with this contest. So Cheap Trick, 1977, track 2, Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School. Great song. And I think that is it. So again, congratulations to you, David, on reaching 100 subs. I encourage all of you to go check out David's channel, go give him some love, go give him a sub, and yeah, I will see you guys for my next video. Bye guys.